Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight here in Cleveland. Tip-off is at 9 o'clock. Cavs and Warriors. Cavs with a 2-1 series lead after a wire-to-wire win in Game 3, 96-91. Chris Fedor, Bud Shaw. We're going to be joined by Joe Vardon, one-third of our Cavs reporting team, but right now, the other third of our Cavs reporting team. He is Chris Haynes, live from Shoot-Around. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, my guy?
All right, so you had a chance to listen to what some of the guys had to say at Shoot-Around this afternoon. Before we get into that, some house cleaning here. Matthew Dellavedova left in an ambulance following Game 3, went to the Cleveland Clinic, said yesterday that he would be ready to go. Is he going to be ready to go tonight?
Yeah, he'll be ready. He's ready to go. We asked him about minute restriction because Black said that's one thing that might change with Dellavedova, and Della was like, hey, man, I'm ready to play, whatever. So he's good to go. The cramping doesn't seem to be an issue. It seemed like that was a one-night thing, and they went to the hospital just for precautionary measures. So I fully expect the Warriors to get a heavy dose of Dellavedova tonight.
Now, he wasn't the only one that was cramping in Game 3. LeBron saying that he was dealing with the same thing. That's new.
Well, if you remember, it was right after the alley-oop dunk, and he came through, and I believe they called an immediate call a timeout to kind of get him to regroup. That was the case. And so, obviously he was able to finish the game, but, yes, Dellavedova wasn't the only one experiencing cramps that night.
Hey, Chris, right now LeBron is dictating pretty much everything offensively for the Cavs, including how much time is left on the shot clock when he finally makes his moves. Would you suspect that Golden State's going to have to try to get the ball out of his hands earlier in the shot clock a few times, if only to give him a different look defensively?
Yeah, that may be the only scenario they have to play. Because you look, the reason he's being so effective in getting to the paint is because they're having Timothy Mozgov, almost near the three-point line, and Bogut has to get that space where he's going to get an illegal defense call. So Bogut is out of the paint. And so that allows LeBron James to dictate, as you said, dictate how much time he'll take off the clock in the attack. And he's getting to the basket with little resistance, and he's finishing. So if they're going to keep having Mozgov or whoever Bogut is guarding, if they're going to keep having that guy way out there on the perimeter and having Bogut away from the paint, they're going to have to get that ball out of his hands and make other guys beat him. And that's just going to be that's their only play. I don't know if they're smart enough to pick up on that or not, but, we shall see.
You mentioned being smart enough to pick up on that. Would you say through 3 games so far in the NBA Finals, Chris, that David Blatt has outcoached Steve Kerr and his staff?
He's outcoached them. He's outsmarted them. He's outwitted them. It hasn't even been close, man. Steve Kerr has got a lot of credit throughout the course of the season, and rightfully so, but his adjustments have been just a little bit too late. I think trying David Lee was a desperation play that actually got him in the game. But, that just shows you how the series has gone. They're trying to implement and instill their brand of basketball into this game. The Cavaliers are not letting them do that. They're coming up, racing up, shooting, wild shots. And I know those are the shots they've been hitting all through the season that got them to this point. But it gets to a certain point when you play a disciplined, defensive-minded team like the Cavaliers, you're going to have to adjust a little bit. And the Warriors have been slow to adjust and adapt. And so, like I said, they should get to a point where some crucial alterations are going to have to be made on the Warriors' part if they're going to make this series.
Chris, what do you expect from Steph Curry early in Game 4?
I think he has to play with the same type of aggression 1 through 4 quarters like he played in the fourth quarter. He has to go out there looking for a shot because what's happening is when he's not going or if he's not aggressive, the team gets in a lull, and then he wants to try to find his rhythm later on. Well, he was able to do that last game, but the team was too down, the team was too dejected. I think even though they were coming back, I still don't really think they thought in their heart that they really can pull this game off. I just don't like their demeanor. I don't like their body language. And it's all going to start with Steph. He has to be aggressive. He has to impose his will and play like the MVP that he is in order for the Warriors to really leave this Midwest area with a split.
Chris, I remember before the NBA Finals started, I talked to you, I talked to Joe Vardon, I talked to Bud. I asked you all the same question. Give me an X factor for the series. And a majority of people would say Draymond Green. Draymond has been a disaster in the first 3 games. Why do you think he's struggling so much?
He is struggling so much. I mean, like I said, Draymond is one of those guys where if his shot is going in, the rest of his repertoire is going to happen. And his three-point shot is not going in. So they're giving him that and living with the results. And the results have been clanks. Now, if his shot is going in, that's going to force a big Tristan Thompson, whoever's guarding him, to rush out. Then Draymond has the ability to put the ball on the floor and make plays. Another thing is this. When Draymond Green does get the step, and does get by his initial defender, he's used to drawing traffic and throwing that lob to Andrew Bogut. That's not happening. They are staying back. Mozgov, give him credit. He's adjusting. Usually he'll go out, get out, far away from the basket and try to contest that shot. But he's staying back near the rim. And Bogut, and Draymond, he wants to pass it. You have to remember that. He wants to pass it. He would much rather, throw a cross-court pass for a three-point shot or give Bogut that alley-oop dunk. But what he's doing is getting caught in no man's land because Mozgov is not up high enough, and then he throws that pass over to Bogut, and it's getting deflected and tipped. And so that's Draymond Green. They have done a phenomenal job in containing his playmaking ability. Because Steph, he's crucial to their success. But Draymond Green is that next guy where they need his all-around game to be successful.
Was the appearance by David Lee a cameo, or would you expect to see a lot more of him in Game 4?
The way things are going for the Warriors, they need any sign of life they can get, so I do expect David Lee to have a significant role going forward.
All right, Chris, good stuff, man. Appreciate you joining us to preview Game 4, bud.
All right, take care, my guys.
All right, there he is, Chris Haynes. I'm with him in terms of seeing David Lee. I've watched a ton of Golden State this year, a ton. They are at their best when they go small. Now, the danger in that is they have been getting killed on the glass at times by Tristan Thompson and Timofey Mozgov. But how did they win Game 1? They went small. How did they get back into Game 2? They went small. How did they get back into the game the other night? They went small. When you put 5 guys on the floor that every defense has to account for, it makes things easier for Steph. It's going to make things easier for Clay. It's going to make things easier for Golden State's offense, right?
I don't say this to you often, but great point.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that. All right, now let's go to our second guest here on Cavs Insider on cleveland.com, Joe Vardon. What's going on, Joe? Great, man. Would you expect LeBron James to change his approach at all going into Game 4, trying to get his teammates more involved, or do you think that he's resigned to the fact that this is what his team needs from him, high-volume shots, aggressive offensively, for them to win this series against Golden State? However, Joe, if you're Golden State, I think you make some great points there and some fair points, but if you're Golden State, can't you look at it and say, so far, this series, the overall point total is 292 us, 291 them, and these games are coming down to a few plays here or there, and the Cavs have not once topped more than 100 points. Can't you say that we've been in these games, every single one of these games, with this strategy, despite LeBron being historically great?
I suppose. I don't like that score. I mean, only because I think we can all agree that 2 garbage points in overtime, otherwise getting shut out in overtime, is somewhat of an anomaly. I mean, this series is dead even, or the Cavs are a little ahead. I would say, and perhaps it shouldn't be. I mean, if you think about it, like you're letting LeBron dictate absolutely everything. He is the best player probably in the world, but we all know that the supporting cast is limited, and Golden State was the best team all year for a reason. And if all the pundits were correct to begin with, that this was Golden State series to lose without Kyrie, my goodness, the Cavs are lucky to win a game. Well, they could really be 3-0 in this series. And, so you have to say to Golden State, what can you change? And it sounds like, we'll see tonight, but it sounds like that's not what they're prepared to do. They're kind of going along with you. So they just feel like there's a play here or there that they need to make, and it's not the strategy problem. So I guess we'll see it around midnight, who was right.
Joe, when this series started, I think we all gave Golden State credit for having a number of guys that they could keep coming at LeBron in waves. Other than Iguodala, who do you think has shown that they can even defend the guy?
Well, I mean, Draymond has had some success. So I suppose that's an option. But then, especially if they're going to go super small with David Lee, that could cause some issues for them in the interior that they can't afford. So those would be your options. I mean, it's just I don't know what to say other than when Harrison Barnes is alone on him on the wing, just bad things are happening. And it's the shooting numbers aren't what LeBron would like, but even when he dribbles the ball until there are 4 seconds left on the shot clock and throws up a turnaround that was a tough shot and it clangs off the iron, well, that was about 21 seconds that they burned. That was, that's keeping Golden State, with the ball out of the Warriors' hands and struggling and, keeping them out of transition more often than not. And so it's all part of LeBron's plan to just kind of dictate the pace, and they've got to figure out a way to stop that.
Joe, is there any concern when it comes to LeBron, just the minutes load? I mean, this is a guy who is not getting a ton of rest. He admitted today that he was cramping after Game 3. Is that a concern here for David Blatt and LeBron, given the fact that they haven't had 2 days off? It's only been 1 day off?
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, the minutes are a huge concern. I don't know what else you're going to do about it. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've gone through his entire playoff career, and there's been a couple. It's been very the sample size is not large, but there's been once or twice where he's had this kind of stretch of minutes over 3 games. But that 4th game, almost always is when he maybe reduces his minute load by at least a little, and I just don't know how they can do it. So they've been kind of saying it, and it's true. There's not a whole bunch of time to worry about that. You give as much as you can give tonight, and then you've got 2 days to rest before you have to play again on Sunday.
All right, Joe, good stuff, man. How are you feeling about Game 4? You have a prediction for me, bud?
Well, I had Golden State in 3. I am giving them one more chance. I am giving the Warriors one more chance in this series, and I'll give it to them tonight.
All right, Joe. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you tonight over at the arena, bud.
I think he meant he picked them in Game 3. He didn't pick them to win the series in 3.
Right. I don't think anybody can do that, although I do think that there were some people, some crazy Cavs fans that were so excited about being back in the NBA Finals, bud, that were picking the Cavs to win the series in 3. I was not one of them, however, but I
doubt it.
know some people were.
I don't doubt it.
Where do you come out on the whole defensive plan for Golden State? I'm curious.
I just think they need to mix a few things up. I just think
Give them different
there are
looks?
times when I think it wouldn't hurt for them to run a double team at him early in a shot clock, depending on who else is on the floor. I mean, if you like your chances with Dellavedova taking threes over James Jones or vice versa. I just think right now it just feels to me like he's almost able to stand there and, look and say, okay, now I'm ready.
Right.
And, he's either going to, I think what's happened is everything else is stagnated. They're not the strongest rebounding team when Tristan Thompson and Mozgov are on the floor. So when he is missing late in the shot clock, I don't know what the percentage is, but there are certainly a number of times when the rebound is going to Tristan Thompson or Mozgov and they're getting a whole recycling of the clock again. And that's when I think Golden State's been hurt.
All right. You have a prediction? Game 4?
I think the Cavs are going to win 97-94.
97-94. Again, under 100.
And you?
I actually think Golden State's going to win tonight.
Okay.
I think it's going to be more like 98-90.
And what did you think in Game 3?
I thought the Cavs would win Game 3.
What did you think in Game 2?
I thought
Are you on a streak?
Golden State. No, I'm not on a streak. Come on, bud. My predictions go awry all the time. Game 2, I had Golden State winning.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and if you had to pick the series all over
So I'm
again
2
right
for 4
now,
right now.
Yeah.
If I had to pick it all over again, knowing what I know now,
I know that you picked the Cavs to win it.
Right, in 7.
Would you still?
I would not. Honestly, I mean, I think Golden State, and I could be wrong about this completely, I think Golden State, after 3 games, is in a pretty good position because I feel like there are things they can do to get better and improve, and I think what we've seen from the Cavs in 3 games...
This is as good as it's going to get.
I think so. All right, we'll find out. Continue to check out all of our coverage, cleveland.com/Cavs. Here on Cavs Insider, Game 4 tonight, Cavs and Warriors. We'll talk to you from the Q tonight. Later.